the president of the Laotian New Generation Democracy Movement. And I'm from Spiro, Oklahoma.
I'm chairman of Lao Human Rights for Democracy.
Udon Sasana, I am representative of the Lao Samphan and Panyabong Sumanabong's party when the royal government, so I'm representing.
My name is Lun Nivong. I represent for Laotian Texas Human Rights Council.
My name is Samdi Rashid. I am chairman of Lao Yuk Mai.
My name is Kaliyapon Chankala. I'm representing Lao Student Movement for Democracy, which is my leader, Mrs. Nongkan Kampilarong. She couldn't make it here today because of the health issues.
Munjang Sedavong, Vice President of Union for Lao Nation and Secretary General of the Laotian Human Rights Council.
In the case of the Laos, when they signed the treaty and ratify, and they did not respect on that treaty. So we would like to bring it up, the case, to our Congress. And as today, so Congressman Frank Wolf, and he is the co-sponsor for this event. And so we have a chance to bring it up, and so we want a Laotian government to take responsibility on the case, and plus with the Hmong people and religious freedom in the southern of Laos. A lot of time that the Laotian government try to force them to not to believe in what is their religion is, and that one is not appropriate. It's not appropriate things that the government will force people to believe or not to believe, and that's what we try to bring the case over here. And I hope that the Laotian government pay attention on what we are all human, and we have to respect each other.
On behalf of Falun Gong practitioner in Washington, D.C., at this Lao Human Rights Conference at the Capitol, I'd like to commend Dr. Sassman, and leader of 6 human rights organizations of Laotian, and for your great efforts and leadership to organize the events today to raise the awareness of human rights and freedoms. And we appreciate this platform of gathering, and we stand in solidarity with you all, and in commemorating those victims of human rights abuses and fighting for basic rights and freedoms for Laos, for China, Vietnam, and the Asian countries. I probably will be the only speaker as Chinese Americans. I'd like to bring 2 messages about China which related to you today. First, the ongoing human rights violations of Falun Gong in China in the last 15 years. I am a Falun Gong practitioner. Next Thursday, July 17th, we're going to hold annual rally in the waist long of Capitol outside to commemorate those victims of persecuted Falun Gong practitioners, and to commemorate the 15th anniversary of peaceful Falun Gong practitioner for anti-persecution efforts inside China and around the world. And I welcome you to join us too next Thursday at Roomtar. As you may know, that severe human rights violations and killings were happening in China against Falun Gong in the past 15 years. 87,000 cases of tortures and inhuman treatments of Falun Gong practitioners were confirmed and reported in 2010 by United Nations, which amounted to 2/3 of all victims of torture in China. Also, there are 450,000 to 1 million Falun Gong practitioners were held in illegal detention across China in any given time in the past decade. Millions lost their life due to persecutions, and millions of families got broken in facing hardship. The persecution of Falun Gong is the largest scale and most brutal human rights atrocity in Chinese history of 5,000 years and in modern world today. U.S. House Resolution 605 in 2011, U.S. Senate Resolution 232 in 2012, and U.S. House Resolution 281 last year were all to specifically condemn Chinese Communist Party's violation on human rights against Falun Gong and to urge to end its campaign against Falun Gong and to express solidarity of U.S. Congress with those victimized Falun Gong practitioners in China. Recently, there is a growing body of evidence suggests that Falun Gong prisoners of conscience have been killed thousands a year to supply China's organ transplant industry. International condemnations are growing. Recently, there is a passage of a resolution in European Parliament expressing concerns over organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners. Similar resolutions, such as Resolution 281 and other legislations that would prohibit organ trafficking and kill on demand for organs from China, have been proposed in many other countries. While most people in the world have enjoyed their freedoms and human rights, over 2 billion people live in Laos, China, Vietnam, North Korea still suffer from human rights violations and struggle for their basic rights and freedom. We, Chinese, share the same root of culture, traditional value, morality, and belief with Laotians, Vietnamese, and other Asian countries. Unfortunately, we also share the same agony and nightmare of evil communist ruling. Throughout the 20th centuries of communists were marred with lies, tyranny, starvations, tortures, massacres, and death in our homeland. In 65 years of ruling of Chinese Communist Party, it caused an unnatural death of 80 million Chinese, which is larger than all such kind of deaths in 5,000 years of Chinese history. It is more than the casualty of World War I and World War II combined. Plus, there's 320 million unborn babies through forced abortions were killed by communists in China in the last 30 years. I know communists have done the same in Laos, Vietnam, Cuba, and North Korea. This represents the most darkest and ridiculous page of human history and of humanity. But today I want to share with you how Chinese have determined to make changes, seek for their conscious awakening, and pursue the freedom and basic rights they long deserved. While communists are still in power, the so-called 退党 movement or decommunization efforts. Since the book of Nieh commentary, published about 10 years ago, the power of truth in the book awakens tens of thousands of brainwashed Chinese each and every day from all over China to denounce their tie with communists. Up to today, there have been 170 million courageous Chinese from within the Communist Party and affiliated of organization publicly denounced from Communist Party with his or her statement of withdrawal posted on public website, so-called 退党. For example, the past Sunday, July 6th, there were 109,000 Chinese 退党. Last week, 653,000 退党. Last month, 2.8 million 退党. 退党 movement is at a rate of one withdrawal every second. For example, in this 2-hour human rights conference we held here, there will be more than 9,000 courageous Chinese choose to cut ties with communism. In addition to the corruptions, unemployment, deteriorating ecosystems and environments, communist regime in China today faced with large number and large-scale demonstrations. According to Chinese authorities, in each and every day, somewhere in China, there are more than 2,000 reports of security problems, more than 500 demonstrations, and more than 15 bloody crackdowns by communists, and with one large-scale protest involved more than 5,000 citizens every day in China. Chinese Communist Party is sitting on top of a live volcano. It was reported in the last 4 years in a row that the budget spending used on public security for cracking down its own people have exceeded the military budget spending in China. This means that China is definitely not a harmonious society, and the Chinese people are treated by Communist Party as #1 enemy. The CCP is coming to collapse soon, but don't forget, before its disintegration, people inside the regime can always choose to learn about the truth, to wake up from the brainwashed illusions, to go against the persecution upon them, to fight for their basic rights and freedoms. Thank you. Please keep up with your good work. I wish your conference every success. Thank you.
I do believe that from the China, Vietnam, and Laos, and we get the same situation. We get blocked from the internet. It's very hard to access to some website. Some people try to access to the news, audio news, text news, or maybe want to communicate with relatives or friends in abroad. But the government censor plus block the website, and this is something is not a freedom that for Lao people. Mm-hmm.